Now, as you might have heard, Air Peace, Nigeria's leading carrier, has launched its direct flight from Abuja to London Heathrow Airport, a move that's being seen as a major advance for both the airline and the Nigerian aviation industry. It followed intense diplomatic efforts to secure the Heathrow slot, driven by the chairman of Air Peace, Onyema, and the Nigerian government. And it means that, as the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, put it, the connecting capital of the whole of Europe now lies within reach of Nigerian travelers. But amid all that cheer, pats on the back, and repeated mantra that when the government clears the runway, the private sector takes flight, why does the notion persist that the government seems to be at once both supporting and stifling the indigenous aviation industry? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the lawyer, chairman and CEO of Air Peace Limited, Onyema, CON. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Great to have finally dragged you kicking and screaming into the studio. But first of all, let me congratulate you. And let me also say that what you're doing, it takes so much courage. I mean, to set up a business like that with all the risks and so on. We're going to get into that in a minute. But let's start with the launch by Air Peace of its direct flight from Abuja to London Heathrow, a move that, as I said, seen as a major advance. How did you pull it off?
First of all, I think we must show gratitude to God Almighty. Without Him, nothing is possible, I believe.
Indeed.
Yes. And again, I want to congratulate the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for pulling it off. This is something to be celebrated. I say congratulations to the President because he engineered it. Like you said in your intro, if this is an example of the government paving way for the private sector to thrive, because no country develops without the private sector. It's the private sector of every country that embodies and implements the visions, the aspirations of any government. So the government stepped out this time to fight for an indigenous operator. So it's not a matter of where is this owner coming from, whatever. The president did the right thing for the country. And today, prices have come down. From $13,000 from Abuja to Heathrow, we brought it down to $3,000. We are saving money for our country. We are making it affordable for Nigerian citizens and the entire flying public. Because you see, even Britons of other races other than black people on our flight yesterday, and they were all very happy because the competition has arrived. These are the things we are talking about.
Well, so I have to say I've got relatives coming into Nigeria in the next couple of months, and the airline they're coming with is Air Peace.
Thank you very much.
So, I mean, you know, it really is changing the face of flight in, I mean, Nigeria, and giving, you know, choice to people, you know. And of course, you already have Abuja to London Gatwick and Lagos to London Gatwick. So you're now fully in with the UK and by extension, Europe.
Of course, the beauty of this whole thing is that this is the first time any Nigerian airline will be doing both most powerful air corridor in the UK at the same time. So every day, Air Peace has 2 flights out of Nigeria to London. One leaves from Lagos to London Gatwick. Another one leaves from here to London Heathrow. And in some days, it becomes Abuja, London Gatwick. So you have 14 flights in 1 week that we're doing. And it has opened the corridor to not only to Europe, but the entire world. Let me tell you, some of the passengers on our flight, on the maiden flight, or even the flights we had subsequently, were not even going to London alone. Some were going to Canada, some were going to America, some were even going to China. So they used Air Peace because Air Peace is affordable. very affordable. They used APs, beautiful aircraft, new aircraft, got into the UK and used another airline to go to America or to go to Canada and Southeast Asia. A lot of them are doing that now and are saving a lot of money. We have a lot of people coming to participate in the Dirty December, and they're all flying APs from both America, Canada, and all over the world. They just get, because the tickets are always more expensive when you fly out of Nigeria to point-to-point destinations. So we have decided to bridge the gap. With what we've done, it has eliminated, and it's actually forcing other airlines to bring down their costs. So even if you don't fly APs now, at least you can fly other airlines. APs cannot fly everybody. You can fly other airlines at affordable or at least reduced, not exorbitant like it used to be. And this is why I say kudos to the President Tinubu for what he has done with Kayamo, leading the battle. This is what I keep on saying. The private sector of every country drives the development of that country. If you demean the private sector of every country, you destroy the very fabric of that country. If you attack Dangote Industries thinking that you want to undo Aliko as a person, you're making a very huge mistake. What does Aliko need again in life? Is it new houses or whatever? If you touch his setup, you're destroying Nigeria. Same for APs. If you think you sit down in your little space and you want to bring APs down, who is this Onyema? You're not doing anything to me, because I don't need any more houses. I've worked for almost 35 years or thereabout. I don't need anything again. So the motivation is when I see the faces of thousands of people feeding through the platform God has given us through maybe Onyema. So some people get fixated, and let's bring him down, let's bring him down. And I keep on calling on the government appointees, both in the legislature, not just appointees of government, but the legislature. They should look at the body language of this president, who is a businessman, who wants. Look at what is happening today. Today we cannot get dollars so easily. The man is moving the economy. Remember where we're coming from. So look at the body language of the president and follow that. Instead of fighting battles that could even demean you, that is even instigating that battle.
Let's talk about that, because one of the challenges is this body language of President Tinubu that you're talking about versus what you're actually getting from other sort of arms of government and other sort of aides and underlings. I mean, he talks about building indigenous businesses that will provide massive job opportunities. But I've heard you in interviews previously talking about what you described as an orchestrated campaign against the company and something you called the pull him down syndrome. Can you expand on that?
Of course, it's very evident. There are some government agencies that do not see beyond their noses. Maybe the leadership of such agencies do not see beyond their noses. And it happens even, not only even in the legislature too. There are people who are there who would want to fight some battles. But you're making a mistake, a huge one, because you cannot scratch anybody. When if you actually succeed in scratching, when everything falls, you may be the victim of the next suicide bomber, the victim of the next armed robber, the victim of the next kidnapper, because when people lose their jobs, you and I are not into kidnapping today. We are not into armed robbery because we have jobs we are doing, things that are keeping us busy. When an investment is providing over 10,000 jobs or 15,000 jobs in the polity, you don't joke with that kind of business. As a government appointee, and this is why I cannot stop President Festus Keyamo. Festus Keyamo is implementing the mandate and the vision of Mr. President more than 100%. This is the first time airlines in this country will be having dry lease options. It never happened in the last 15 years. Nigeria was unofficially blacklisted. But this regime did everything. The federal government even had to bend backwards to sign the IDERA. the improvement on the Cape Town Convention, they signed the practice direction of that in order to allow these lessors come to Nigeria. All these big airlines you see all over the world, they don't really own those planes. And people are complaining about capacity in Nigeria. Oh, Nigerian airlines don't have capacity. What have you done to make them have capacity? All the airlines of this world, they don't, those big airlines owning 800 aircraft, over 90% of those planes do not belong to them. Those planes are financed. But in Nigeria, you must buy your own plane. Give it to the Nigerian operators. They are trying because they own their planes. They bought them. Now the federal government has stepped in. The federal government has stepped in. They have changed the entire thing. In the next few days, maybe in 3 days' time or 4 days' time, the first dry list aircraft will be coming into this country, courtesy of Airpeace and AirCap. And that is the government that did it. Government signed everything, gave Nigeria Aviation a new lease of life. The Nigeria Aviation was celebrated in Dublin. The entire world gathered in Dublin because of what Keamo did to come and see these Nigerian operators. And that happened at the beginning of the year. The vice president midwifed the signing of the practice direction. So President Tinubu's administration has helped aviation more than any other in the world. And we in AON, the airline body, we are very grateful to Mr. President for what he has done. But I want to tell you something about the significance of this Heathrow thing. Now, like I told you about the connectivity, not only connectivity abroad, even in Nigeria. Abuja Heathrow, if you're coming home this 30 December and Lagos is not your destination, Abuja is not your final destination, and Lagos is not your final destination, you can fly Heathrow or Gatwick to Abuja. You are landing into Nigeria, into Abuja at about 6 a.m. or thereabout. By 8 a.m., all our flights are on ground, Abuja, going to different parts of Nigeria. So you can buy your ticket. You can buy your ticket from London, do Heathrow Owerri, Heathrow Enugu, Heathrow Calabar, Heathrow Kano, Heathrow Gombe, Heathrow Yola, Heathrow everywhere, or Gatwick everywhere. When you land here, we take charge of your luggage. We move it to the next next flight.
So you pick it up at your final destination.
Yes. No, you clear. We take
you
it
have
for
to
you.
Clear it, obviously, because it's an international flight.
Airport. Yeah. You clear it, but we help you to take the luggage with our own employees. They'll move it to the next. You don't need to check in again or whatever. We are waiting for you. We do that for them. And that connectivity, no airline in the world flying to Nigeria will give it to you. It's only Airpeace that does that.
Well, that's very commendable.
And of course, if you're coming to Nigeria, maybe you flew through Abuja to London, and you change your mind that you like to do something in Lagos. We can fly you. You go over to the other airports and go to Lagos. We allow you to do that.
Now, you've talked about the need, because obviously, I mean, you've talked very, you've commended the government for a lot of the things they've done, but there are other things that need to be done. I mean, you've talked about the need for the government to create what you call transit hubs for Nigerian airlines in this country's airports. In other words, for the airports to become transit friendly. Can you expand a bit more on that and the government's response so far?
Okay. In the past, Nigerian airlines were being accused of not, Nigeria is geographically placed so beautifully, the center of the world. So wherever, 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours. But Nigerian airlines are so weak, they could. Those ministers of the old telling you that they were all lying to Nigerians because the airports were not hub friendly. It's not the airlines that create hubs, it's the kind of airport you have that will attract hub. Now you have an airport or the airports whereby you don't have any transit area. If somebody is flying from, say, Douala to Senegal and comes to Nigeria, the person will have to pay visa fees. Coming from Central Africa, they're not part of ECOWAS. You pay visa fees, pass immigration, pass quarantine, pass COVID, pass customs, even Boy Scout and anything in uniform, you pass all of them, and you get to departure hall. Then you get to arrival, then go over to the departure hall to start checking in again. Nobody does that. Nobody will want to pass through
Very
again.
inconvenient.
Because they also pay visa fees. When you are doing transit, you don't need to do that. There must be a transit place for people to stay, wait for their flight, and move on because they're not coming into your country. Now, this president and his administration are addressing that. I can speak authoritatively.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that, because that was a concern
So
that's been raised.
I'm sure in the next few months, remember they're going to do something about the old airport to create the proper hub. But for now, they're trying to create a space for that and again involve the customs. And the good thing is, both the customs and immigration, they're listening. We've never had it so good, a situation where you complain about something that is implemented. 4% FOB put on airlines to pay for importation of aircraft parts and all that. We complained to the government and the president removed it immediately because nowhere in the world does that happen. But it finds its way into our system. But he was gracious enough to remove it and the airlines are breathing. So the most important thing is that when you have a government that is listening, it becomes easier. Us in aviation, we never had it so good this way.
Well, I mean,
so
that's...
those ones we don't have. They're addressing issues of bed strike. They're trying to address them. APC alone has had about 48 or 47 bed strikes this year.
And we've read some of those.
Yeah, that could cause a lot of delays and all sorts of things. But the government now is addressing it. The most important is that whenever we bring anything to the fore, the address, Kermo is working 24 hours trying to make sure that every airline is carried along, every airline is supported. We complain about helicopter. Our helicopter people, we are being charged, our members who are into helicopter operations, they were being charged a certain amount of money per landing anywhere. They complained, we took it to the minister, they shut it down. You know that, because you need to support aviation, every country. We are not asking government to give us money. But there are certain policies that could be changed, and the airlines will thrive.
Well, it all sounds very rosy and rather ship-shape and seaworthy, but people want to know this. I mean, you've talked about the international flights and and so on, but most people in Nigeria don't get to fly international; they fly domestic. Is there the possibility that airfares will ever come down, or is it now upward ever? And if so, what is driving that cost?
Okay, aviation is one aviation worldwide. Aviation is the only industrial sector that is very universal. It is the same law. Over there in Canada or America, the same regulation, everything. Aviation is one worldwide. Now, the cost of operations, for instance, look at fuel. It takes 40% of the cost of operations. But in Nigeria, in the past, it used to take maybe 70%. But with the advent of an indigenous investor like Dangote, we are very thankful to him. It has brought the cost down.
But your prices don't come down.
No, bringing it down from where it used to be before. Now, everything about aviation is dollarized. There's not even a pin that is manufactured in this country. All over the world, everything about aviation is on dollar and dollar and dollar. The next one is maybe euro, but 90% dollarized. I want you to go on and look at 50 minutes flights from Atlanta to, say, Charleston in South Carolina. If you're buying it today, it will be about $540 for 50 minutes flight. Maybe 2 weeks ahead, you may be getting it for $250 to $300. Sometime in the year 2000, Nigerians were buying one ticket 2,000 naira, but the exchange rate then was 100 naira, so it was about, they were buying it at $100. Now today in Nigeria, our tickets sell from less than $100. Yeah, they sell from less than $100. $100 is about 150,000.
Yeah, but I guess it's the earning power. I mean, the spending power of people.
But the spending power, you need to maintain that plane.
No, I agree.
You go to the same market.
I agree.
The same engine, the same one bed strike takes if you take the 777 engine out, you're talking about $20 million.
Right, I agree. Listen, we've got literally 1 minute to go. Fascinating conversation. Very quick question with a very quick answer. People are also wondering why Airpeace has so far chosen not to be publicly listed, which would allow the company to raise capital by selling shares on the stock market. Why is that? Brief.
Thank you very much. A lot of people have been telling me, Alan, just cash out, go public and cash out. Yeah, there have been some other companies, not necessarily in aviation, that did that, made a lot of money, but myself and my family, we refused. We don't believe that the foundation is 100% solid yet.
Right, okay.
We want to make it very solid before
that happens.
Because it's the legacy that matters to us.
Indeed.
If I want to make money tomorrow, I'll go public. There are a lot of people, a lot of countries want to come and buy Airpeace. A lot of countries even want to come from behind and use Airpeace call sign to fly and be giving me millions of dollars every year. But then they will carry the whole money back to their country, and jobs will be lost here. It will affect and they will make it look as if we are doing wet lease with them. They'll bring their plane, make it look as if we are doing wet lease with them, but it's not really wet lease.
Right.
And that means NCA and the federal government must make sure. Now, when we are bringing wet lease, there are certain things you do to know whether it's actually wet lease. Some people might bring people, I'm not saying they're going to do it, but if they had approached me to come, okay, let me bring our planes and fly all over the world and pay you a certain royalty. If I'd accepted, or if I accept that kind of thing, the country will be ruined, our economy will be ruined.
So that's a consideration.
Other airlines. So I don't want to do such things. I want to make sure that we are very solid
before we go
public.
Okay.
So that when they come in, they don't put the house down.
Alan, you're a star. Thank you very much indeed. And I also have to just say that whatever challenges you're going through, I hope you get as much support as possible from both the government and the people of Nigeria, because you represent this country very well and you make us all very proud indeed. So thank you for coming in to talk to us. Alan Onyema is a lawyer, chairman and CEO of Airpeace Limited. He's also CON, which is a national honor. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
That's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again tomorrow. From me and the entire team here in Abuja and Lagos, bye-bye and thank you for watching.